Good morning. How are you? Well, it's a little warmer, but it's gray skies, and there are going to be showers. Hopefully, I won't be caught in one while I'm talking to you or while I'm doing my walk. The uh, the big issue on the Hill is still the stimulus bill, as it rightly should be, the $1.9 trillion bill, and the significance of it, and it passed last night, is that it addresses the unemployed, the food insecure, small businesses, governments that need the funds to do their functions, compromised by the pandemic, a whole panoply of programs that help the people because of the virus. And it's critically important because we have so many unemployed. I think I read one number is 20 million. So we have some serious problems in the nation. The only fly in the ointment, and it's one that could be quite damaging, is the $15 minimum wage, which at $7.25 an hour, what is that, $290 or something like that? I don't know that anyone I know could live on that. If you stripped away everything, if you were reduced to food and walking, and where are you living? I think it's an example of a basic standard that we have to insist upon. And even in the formulation of the bill as it exists, it comes in gradually. All that said, is we're talking about paying a minimum wage when we have a bill that is somewhat endangered by the fact that we're fighting about a minimum wage when the bill includes unemployment that gets paid through August. So there's a tension, there's a conflict within our political motivations. And they're both worthy objectives. The trouble is we have such a narrow difference in terms of control of the House and the Senate. It's very dangerous because we risk a larger good by fighting about an important good, the minimum wage, but we put at risk the higher good. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. In the House, when the bill was passed last night, not a single Republican voted for the $1.9 trillion, and they could have a host of objections, including the minimum wage, for all I know. And we also lost 2 House members in the vote last night, when we don't have a large margin. Now, when this vote was taken last night, the House knew that the Senate had a problem with the minimum wage. And there's kind of a ping pong that goes back and forth between the houses. That is to say, this bill originated in the House, it goes to the Senate. It already has a fault in it, according to the parliamentarian in the Senate. So even if the entire bill is passed, they'll have to take out the minimum wage if they follow what the parliamentarian said, which means they all have to come together again to reconcile the difference between the 2 bills, one with minimum wage, one without. That means the House has to vote on it again. So the delay is a problem. But here's another thing. Mathematically, in the Senate, we don't have the numbers as long as Manchin stays where he is, and there's at least one other senator who's objected to the minimum wage, Democrat that is. And I don't know that we get any Republicans. So what has Biden said? Biden has basically said, the parliamentarian has done what I expected. The parliamentarian has ruled, under the rules that apply to the reconciliation bills, the minimum wage is not germane. It cannot be part of a reconciliation. And why is that? Well, the reconciliation was a process for emergency budget matters. I think it was like 2001. They created this approach to budget questions. And what the Byrd rule was that if it doesn't involve increases in spending or increases in income, then it's not appropriate for budget reconciliation. So a minimum wage may increase the funding to an employer, but it increases the income to the worker who spends that funds, and that increases funds in society. Well, that's not a direct effect on the budget, and that's basically what the parliamentarian decided. So the reaction, the appetite for the minimum wage is exceeding, in my opinion, the triage that's necessary here. And Manchin, if they decided to vote to overrule the parliamentarian, they still wouldn't pick up Manchin. They wouldn't have the votes to do it. So what is possible? Isn't politics the art of the possible? Well, in this case, the art of the possible is to strike the minimum wage from the stimulus bill and approve the 1.9 trillion, perhaps with several Republicans. What about the minimum wage? Well, why not vote on it as a standalone, starting in the House or the Senate, and in the Senate's case, brush aside the filibuster rule of 60 votes. We keep eating at the edges. Instead of doing something that's unclear to the world, why not say majority rule? It's important to have a minimum wage, and here we go. So that's my thinking on the subject, and this is what you'll watch unfold in the days ahead. My biggest concern is the delay involved here and the opportunity for treachery if the Republicans can take advantage of our very narrow position in terms of ability to deliver. We went through something like this at the beginning of the Obama administration, the Affordable Care Act. And it was the fact that they didn't have to reconcile the bills after Kennedy's death that allowed them to pass it. And people like Moynihan were concerned because he thought a bill like this should involve much more support. Well, this is a bill, we don't have that problem. We don't have somebody who's near death or we're going to lose as a necessary vote. But we do have a very narrow margin, and we're playing with a much bigger item that's so important to the public. When there is a remedy to build, if you will, support for an increased minimum wage, which is way past when it should have been dealt with by having it as a standalone and brushing aside the filibuster. So, I'm sorry I'm so technical today. I don't know, it's on my mind. So, have a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.